I hope you're not going to give me a hard time today. Well, that depends on you. Just to clarify, you don't have a problem with me referring to you as schizoid? Why would I have a problem with that? Well, you seem to have a pretty negative attitude about the current DSM schizoid personality disorder criteria. Are you adverse to the schizoid label? I don't have an issue with the word schizoid being used to describe me, any more than the words tall, male, or any number of other relevant adjectives. It's not the word schizoid that's the problem. It's the misrepresentation of the DSM description that creates the stigma and confusion around schizoid-related issues. That causes greater harm. But don't you think these descriptions help in understanding and treating the condition? I don't believe SPD or any other personality disorder can really be compartmentalized into a separate box from some other clinical diagnosis. Psychological conditions overlap, and the entire DSM Clusterf approach only confuses the issues. Clusterfuck. Never heard of that. I think it's only appropriate that dictionaries like Collins, Webster, Oxford, Wikipedia, and others should update their entries to include the word clusterfuck. Please explain exactly what you mean. To me, neatly packaging disorders into separate, clearly defined categories based on ill-considered and poorly thought-out clusters of personality traits and behaviors seems questionable. In my view, clusterfuck describes the incomplete, counterfactual, superficial and misleading nature of the DSM. The DSM cluster approach is a method that's always struck me as being somewhat arbitrary. I mean, when they group personality disorders into clusters, are they truly capturing the essence of the condition, or are they oversimplifying? The term clusterfuck can be used as an adjective, noun, or verb. But isn't the DSM helpful in providing a common language for mental health professionals? A common language that is flawed, only perpetuates misconceptions. But surely we need some guidelines. Of course. But guidelines that are too rigid can oversimplify and misrepresent the psychological condition they're seeking to treat. You see, I've come to realize that these psychological conditions are far more complex and intertwined than what we often find in standard diagnostic manuals like the DSM. It's not just a matter of checking off symptoms from a list. No, it's much more nuanced than that. We're dealing with human minds, after all, each uniquely wired and influenced by a myriad of different factors. Okay, so what would you suggest as an alternative approach? I believe this outdated approach should be replaced by a more rational and compassionate model that focuses on understanding individuals through psychoanalysis and a logical assessment of causal factors and relationships. And we need to carefully consider whether we're even dealing with a personality disorder at all. If not a disorder, then what? Adaptations to being born human in a fucked up world.